It's Fragpunk, baby. NAO. I've been having a lot of fun with the game since its release. Yes, there are some issues in the game, but I believe we will be aight, my boys. A lot of people are trying the game out right now, and I want to provide a few tips I've learned while playing this masterpiece of a game. Mwah! Chef's kiss. If any of these tips helped you out, please consider subscribing. Now let's get into it. Tip number 1, the knife and axe do not have the same stats. The knife and axe stats differ in its damage and attack ranges. The axe has more range and more damage than the knife, but both melees take 3 hits with your left click or 1 full charge dash to kill a full HP target. At this moment, I do not see any upside to bringing the knife over the axe, unless you just have better skins for the knife. I guess there'll be those odd times where you have to, you would have killed someone if you had the axe over the knife, but in all honesty, you should stop trolling and just use your gun, bro. Use your gun, bro. Tip number 2, it's going to be choosing your Lancer and your weapon during the card selection phase. Now I get it. I was so excited and caught up by the shard card system that I wait until I knew what cards will we be having for the round before choosing my Lancer and my gun. That resulted in me not being able to play my baby Circuit. Might as well uninstall at that point, right? So please, save yourself the headache of not getting your main character and make that choice before spending your shard points. Your weapon is not too big of a deal because you can select it during the prep phase, but if you want to master your character, you got to make sure you can at least play them in your matches. Tip number 3, it's going to be the jump knife peek. It's the jump peek from Valorant and the knife peek from Rainbow Six Siege's little baby girl. In Siege, you would have to knife peek an angle to see if someone holding that angle will react to it by shooting. And the jump peek in Valorant was great for quick peeking those long angles that snipers like to frequent. Since Fragpunk added a dash to the charge melee attack, we can begin the charge before peeking an angle, jump peek, then 180 back to safety with the dash. This is how it should look from the enemy's perspective. It's something I'm still working on myself, but I believe this tip will be helpful for the game's entire lifespan, especially with all these seemingly cracked Hollowpoint players going around one-tapping folks. Tip number 4, easy and simple. There is no accuracy penalty when you're moving while you're ADSing in Fragpunk. In games like Valorant and CS, you cannot move while shooting or your bullets will end up in fucking Wakanda. And it makes sense that I've seen a few people counter-strafing in my lobbies, but that's just something you do not need to do in Fragpunk. If you are ADSing and moving from left to right, your bullets are going to go where your crosshair is. It's just on you to have good tracking and recoil control. Now, before we get into the final tip, if any of these tips helped you out, please consider subscribing. My new goal is 500 subs. I'll be releasing a lot more Fragpunk videos because I'm having a lot of fun, man. I promise I'm about to keep the yapping to a minimum, so let's get to this final tip. Now for the final tip, remembering to choose your relic. There has not been one game where I have not been the teammate to activate a relic, and I get it. It's just not intuitive. It's totally understandable. We are just not used to having to make so many decisions at the beginning of a game. You got to choose your Lancer, your weapon. There's 2 knife options. You got to look at what cards the enemy may bring, what card you want to bring, how to counter their cards, how to counter the counter. And I know. Just choose the relic first. If you don't know which one to choose because you're solo queuing, just choose Scales of Unity. Your team gets extra shard points just by playing the game. Extra shard points are obtained by planting the converter, defusing the converter, and getting kill assists. Easy solo queue choice. You know what? Before I end the video, I'm going to go ahead and add a bonus tip for y'all because I know y'all hit that sub button. So let's take a look. Peace. Quick Fragpunk tip. If the enemy team has the card Blade Master up and they start deflecting your bullets, just aim below the knees and it's a free kill 100% of the time. Subscribe for more random tips.